WGNSradio.com. This is the Roundtable. A look at the news, views, politics, and people that are shaping Rutherford County.
And good morning, everybody. Welcome to your Tuesday morning edition of the Roundtable Show with your hosts, Wayne Blair and myself, Rick Hall. We come to you every Tuesday morning here at WGNS with topics around North Rutherford County, and it seems like we hit all of Rutherford County here lately, but we try to focus on the north end of our county and things going on. But Mr. Wayne, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Brother Rick. How are you?
I'm wonderful, man.
I'm looking outside, and it's not 100 degrees heat index right now, and grateful for that. So,
well, I just spent the weekend in Biloxi, Mississippi, and I've never been there. And for one, and two, that's a different kind of heat.
Was it like being in New Orleans,
different
maybe?
Kind of heat. It really is. We were all over the southern end of Mississippi in the area down there, but Lord, it was hot.
Tell you what, I attended Friday Night Lights at Smyrna Field, and I don't know that I've ever been as hot as I was Friday evening. It was miserable. So, but hey, football's here. Tickled about that. The cut day for the NFL. Would you tell me earlier about 1,200 players going to be looking for a home?
Get their walking papers today.
You know, I would not want to have been one of those guys last night.
I would have. Just to play 3 NFL ball games, I think I would have taken that chance.
I guess that's right.
I see what you're saying.
I guess that's right.
Yeah.
Rick, this morning we have our good friend, very well known throughout the county, former teacher, coach, school board member, principal, the athletic director for the entire county, radio personality, has worn so many hats he probably can't keep up with all of them. This morning, welcome, Tim Tackett. We're thrilled to have you.
You mentioned selling popcorn. I do that too. Glad to be here, Rick and Wayne, always, for sure.
Well, we just, like Rick said, we concentrate on the north end of the county, but from time to time we'll try to have a personality that basically covers the entire county community, and I don't know anybody that does that better than you.
Well, I think I mentioned this the last time I was on, that much of my career was in Smyrna, in Laverne area. I taught, my first teaching job was at John Coleman, and then went to Roy Waldron, and my first coaching experience was at Smyrna High School. With Tony Majors one year as the assistant basketball coach there. And so I spent a lot of time in that neck of the woods, as they say, and very familiar with Smyrna, and always pleased to say that, I did those things. Laverne gets such a tough rap, I think, sometimes, and
sure.
My best years, I felt like, were in Laverne, at Laverne High School when it opened up. So I'm very familiar with that, and excited about what those schools have to offer.
Well, and of course, Smyrna is going under an expansion,
yes,
just like Oakland and Riverdale, and then I think Laverne, Blackman are also on the list to, they're bursting at the seams as well with student population. So all these schools continue to grow.
Well, you worked with the county commission on it, and then as a school board member as well, and it's a terrific problem to find land that's in the right place that you can afford to do and build schools appropriate size. I know there's many that believe that 2,500 students is too many in a high school. I don't really think that that's an issue with me, as long as you staff it properly.
Yes, sir.
I think they'll be just fine, but the schools continue to grow, and of course then you got elementary schools and junior middle schools to have to deal with. And I think I heard yesterday you were on with Coon Victory, which is one of my favorite folks. I really enjoyed listening to him again. And the population in Rutherford County schools right now is 51,000 or so. And
wow,
that's that's bigger than what Murfreesboro was 50 years ago, and Murfreesboro, Smyrna, and Laverne all put together 50 years ago. So we've got and then the teaching staff that's there to do with it is well over 2,000. Yet really in a tough situation as far as teaching is concerned. The teacher shortage is real, and in sports, coaching shortages and officials to officiate the games are short as well. So staffing is a real issue at some of our schools, and I never thought I'd see that happen in Rutherford County, but it sure has.
And that 51,000, does that include Murfreesboro schools? That's
just the county system,
right? Yeah.
So you got I think 8 schools in Murfreesboro City, and I'm going to assume that there's something in the 1,000 range. So we're time to put Middle Tennessee Christian and Providence Academy in there. We've got, I'm satisfied, well over 60,000 students in Rutherford County. In some schools.
Under the impression that Murfreesboro had somewhere between 13,000 and 15,000.
Very well may be. I can't say that I've kept up with it a lot.
I would say that of course surpassed Hamilton County, even without the city schools.
Right.
If you include the city schools, I bet we'd be bumping up against Knox County.
Don't doubt that one bit. And I spent a lot of years there in that profession, proud to do so. And I just hope our listening audience and all around can be as supportive as the teachers and administrators and coaches that they can be, because it's a tough job, always has been a tough job, and I think it's an underappreciated job. And we find that in safety areas as well, police, fire, and so forth. I think we have found a way to be not as appreciative as we should be.
I think there's a country song out there that says teachers should be paid the same as doctors and attorneys and such. So, there is some appreciation out there.
Well, I know the general public wants to do right by teachers and firemen and policemen and so forth, but when you start looking at staffing right at 3,000 people, the time you get to central office staff and so forth, a 2% raise, Mr. Former Commissioner, you guys talk about what that does to the tax rate, and
yes, sir.
You got to balance that against the tax rate and what people can afford to do and what they're willing to do, and it's a difficult issue right now.
Well, we've talked on this show before about the developmental tax, that those coming in should pay their fair share, and many of an opinion that they're not doing that yet.
Well, of course, what that does is add to the price of the home or whatever it happens to be, and we know right now affordable housing is difficult for folks to find. Lots of more apartments in Murfreesboro than we thought we'd ever see. But the reason for that, I assume, is because it's just so difficult to find a way to build a house that people can afford to buy in many of these price ranges that we've got.
Yes.
Well, I think Rutherford County is such a unique position to where a lot of counties would trade to have the problems we've got with growth, because the area I just come out of, that since Katrina hit down there, a lot of that's never been replaced. It's bulldozed over land where it took out the houses there and everything, and people just they basically loaded up and they moved away, and they've never filled in the backfill of losing all what they have, and here we've got it funneling over. It was ironic, you listened to Scott's show before, to where Murfreesboro's implementing these impact fees, but then the state tells the county part that they can't, and that's the only way to allow us to pay for our own growth is through impact fees, and to be handcuffed. And it scares me that we're handcuffing ourselves by the state, and then we're going to run off our growth, and then we're going to find ourselves in that situation.
In the coaching field, I, as well as many other coaches, would emphasize to the players, nothing ever stays the same. You're either going to get better today or you're going to get worse today.
Right.
The practices matters, and it's the same thing's true in cities. You're either going to grow or you're going to go back the other way. And drive around the Middle Tennessee area and some of these smaller counties, and certainly in West Tennessee where they're really struggling, and we hear things like the hospitals that are closing in the rural areas. All that we have here, traffic and that comes with it, but it beats the heck out of what these other systems are having to do.
I can remember, and it hadn't been that many years ago, growing up in Smyrna, that for shopping or for entertainment, you either went to Nashville or depending on the situation, you came to Murfreesboro, and presently, you can just about get anything that you want in any of those three metropolitan areas. I mean, they've just grown. Sam Ridley, Nissan, and then of course, Old Fort and Medical Center. I mean, there's no reason to go to Davidson County anymore. And with that big amphitheater that's coming out on Medical Center, I suspect there'll be a ton of entertainment opportunities there.
Well, it's been 20 or so years, I guess, that I kind of made a statement in my mind. There's no reason to go to Davidson County anymore for anything. As you say, used to, if you want to go to a pretty nice restaurant, you had to go there to get that done. If you wanted to buy electronic devices, the Best Buy kinds of things, you typically had to go. But we want for nothing here. And now I do have some really good friends that moved away 30 years ago and are back in town. I talked to them. They came by the house a couple of weeks ago and let me know that they were moving back. And they marveled at the change, and they said, but the biggest issue that they have found is so different is traffic. It's just hard to imagine. Now, if you're from Atlanta, I don't think they can possibly understand how we think about it, the traffic. But go down Memorial Boulevard about noon, and you're facing a lot of traffic for sure.
There's a big difference. My daughter's going in. She's a junior here at MTSU, so her navigating from growing up in Smyrna and now navigating around Murfreesboro, she says, where she thought everything took 5 minutes to get there is now turned into 20 minutes. She's pretty much late for everything right now. So
where I live in Murfreesboro is near the Stones River Country Club area in the Riverview subdivision. And then people don't understand this, but it's very true. I can get to Smyrna High School quicker than I can get to Riverdale High School because the distance is farther to Smyrna High, but the number of traffic lights is so many fewer. Trying to get from where I'm at all the way across to the school board area, across town, it takes a world of time, and then you throw traffic on top of it. When I was on the school board, Wayne, we started most meetings at 5 o'clock, and if at 9:30 in the morning I could get from there to the school board office in 20 minutes. Yeah. But for a 5 o'clock meeting, you don't want to wait till 20 minutes to 5 to try to leave. That 20 minutes turns into about 40. Yeah. And there were times I still had to call Miss Michaels and say, Joyce, I'm on my way. I'm sitting in traffic. I got a little late start, and that late start was anything after 4:20 was too late to really know that you're going to get there on time.
Well, Dr. Burns used to say the same thing. He'd be coming from MTSU, and he'd say, I never know how bad the traffic, if there's going to be an accident or something that impedes me from getting to the. And of course, he was chair 2 or 3 years, and especially as chair, you do not want to be late.
Yeah.
Well, I think you brought me in here to talk a little sports, and let's kind of move it in that direction.
Yes, sir.
The growth is. We keep waiting. People keep saying that when you add another high school and add another high school, add another high school, it's going to water everything down. That has not been the case at all.
No, sir.
Oakland is on a tear right now. Middle Tennessee Christian School is a private school, but they're doing exceptionally well. We've seen Blackman have some really good years. It looks like Rockvale and Stewart's Creek this year have a chance to have good years. And so the talent shifts and whatever, but because of where we are, bringing new students in, those new students oftentimes are good athletes. And I guess maybe the best thing that we're able to do is attract and retain good coaches. Kevin Creasy's had such a great, successful run in Oakland, and yet he's still here.
Yes, sir.
Because I'm sure he likes to hear it. B, he feels like he can win here, and C, he's compensated well enough that he can do whatever. We've seen iconic coaches come through here. Marty Uberard at Oakland, I'm very familiar with. Of course, you go back to Gary Rankin at Riverdale, and you go back to some of the great coaches. Philip Shedd Owens had a good run at Smyrna High School for a while, and so forth. So we've had some really good coaches in this system.
So is there a lot of behind the scenes that we don't see with this coaching thing like you're talking about? Because we did, you bring up Rankin and Shedd Owens, and then they all went to East Tennessee. They were lured away, I guess, with money and incentives to be able to go. Is that a lot going on in the back scenes?
Well, I would assume so. Rankin went to Alcoa, and they've had huge success. They've won more state championships than any football program in the state. He went there. I'm sure he was lured there with some opportunities. Part of it can be, Rick, the teaching load that you have. If you can go someplace and they say, we want you to come and coach football, and we'll let you teach a minimum number of classes so that you can concentrate on the football, that's helpful as well. Of course, Gary has moved from Alcoa to Boyd Buchanan, which when you go from public school to private school at his age, I know what that is like. He can draw his retirement from TCRS and then get paid a full salary at Boyd Buchanan, and that's an opportunity, and I don't begrudge anybody that at all. But
Sure.
And Boyd Buchanan has been a good program over the years, but not great. Last year, his first year, they did some good things. I saw this past Friday night they hung 50 on somebody. So Gary's not surprisingly going to build that program pretty quickly.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, you're listening to Tim Tackett here. We're talking sports, but I think we're just now getting into it. But
Yes, sir.
we're going to take our first break and be right back with you in just a minute.
Hi, this is Chip Walters with Exit Realty Bob Lamb and Associates. You might know me as the voice of the Blue Raiders, but I want to be your trusted advisor in real estate. Whether you're buying or selling, it's time to choose Chip. Do you have a growing family and need to upsize? Are you an empty nester now and need to downsize? Are you thinking of selling your current home but just worried you can't find something else? Well, it's time to choose Chip. I'm looking to be your trusted advisor in real estate. I'm Chip Walters with Exit Realty Bob Lamb and Associates.
Get ready to unleash your inner Blue Raider spirit and make some noise at Floyd Stadium this season. Lock in your seat with season tickets starting at a jaw-dropping $99. Don't miss a single snap, heart-stopping touchdown, or electrifying atmosphere. Snag your tickets now. Go BlueRaiders.com/tickets. And don't forget to take your radios and listen at the game to FM 101.9 or AM 1450. WGNS, the flagship station for MTSU Sports. Let's go Blue!
Hey, it's Scott. When it comes to health, there are numbers that every man needs to know, including our very own testosterone numbers. I recommend going to Low T Center, where they make it quick and easy to get your levels checked, and it's only $25. You walk in, take a simple blood test, and with their on-site lab, you'll know your results in about 25 minutes. Low testosterone levels can make you feel tired, grumpy, cause lack of motivation, and drive. It can also raise your cholesterol, cause weight gain, and loss of muscle mass. Go to lowtcenter.com now to book your appointment. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Our promise to you is to perform the correct service at an honest price. When you need commercial HVAC services, trust the experts at Roscoe Brown. Our technicians have the skills, knowledge, and tools to fix most commercial HVAC problems on the spot. When your Roscoe Brown technician arrives, they'll explain all your options way before starting repairs. That way you can make an informed decision before work begins. At Roscoe Brown, we're not happy until you're happy.
Roscoe Brown. RoscoeBrown.com. This is Good Neighbor Events with Bart Walker. Brought to you by the law offices of John Day and AmeriCare Pest Control.
This is a paid legal ad.
You've probably heard it a million times. If you're injured, call a lawyer. And you probably haven't, because you don't know how much it will cost, how long it will take, or even if you have a case. At the law offices of John Day, we provide a free initial consultation because we understand that folks don't want to pay a lawyer only to find out they don't have a case. If you think we can help, we do so on a contingency basis, which means we only get paid if you do. Seriously injured? Call me, John Day.
WGNS encourages you to shop local. That improves our local economy. Now, this coming weekend over at the Wilderness Station at Barfield Park, is the Fall Native Plant Sale, as well as the Hummingbird Festival. 2 big events over at Barfield Crescent Park this Saturday. Don't you dare miss them. And then a week later, the Grape Harvest Festival, as well as the Fall Lawn Care Field Day. Both a week later, Saturday, September the 9th, at the Lane Agri Park. The Fall Lawn Care Field Day is from 9 to 11 that Saturday morning, and the Grape Harvest Day is from 7 to 11, Saturday, September the 9th. September the 9th is a big day. That's the weekend after this one. It's the Wings of Freedom Fish Fry, the 12th annual one, brought to you by the Smyrna Rotary Club. Don't miss the Wings of Freedom Fish Fry at the Smyrna Airport, Saturday, September the 9th, from 5 until 9 in the evening at the Smyrna Airport. That's at 278 Doug Warpool Drive. Those are WGNS Good Neighbor events.
Good neighbor weather. We'll see a few scattered showers and thunderstorms at times here this afternoon. Partial sunshine develops, a high in the mid-80s. Tonight, partly cloudy skies develop, a low near 61. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki on News Radio WGNS. Currently, it's 72.
WGNS is powered by Middle Tennessee Electric. As a member of MTE, you have access to educational resources to help you tailor energy use to your lifestyle. Interested in electric vehicles? MTE offers incentives to learn about EVs and connect with others who share your interest.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and worldwide at WGNSradio.com.
And good morning and welcome back to the second segment of the Rick and Wayne Show. This morning it's our pleasure to have former school board member, principal, athletic director for the entire county, Tim Tackett, with us this morning. And thank you for being with us, Tim.
Always good to be here, Wayne. You guys do a good job. I listened yesterday, as I mentioned, and first of all, I was surprised that you were on Monday, and I realized that there's an illness with the gentleman that does the Monday show, which I've listened to a good bit. But as I said, Coon Victory goes way back a long way. I was in Smyrna Thursday night. Linda, my wife, it was her birthday, and she wanted to go to a restaurant there in Smyrna. It's the first time I'd been downtown Smyrna along the railroad area for a little while. But coming back, drove past what used to be Crossland Supply, and it sat there empty, and I thought, that just doesn't look right.
Yeah.
Because Coon spent so much time there, and great supporter of that, and he's one of those great examples of what Smyrna is. People that are from Smyrna live and die Smyrna.
Yes.
The saying goes, they got the dog in them, and Coon and many like him are that way. They're just so prideful about what Smyrna's about.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
No, I agree. As I hate going back to it, but Biloxi over the weekend, I was down there. My father-in-law got honored for. They have a Hall of Fame for their city.
Mm-hmm.
And they had several players that played for Southern Miss and Ole Miss and everything that they had and inducted. And there was 13 of them. But man, you want to talk about rolling out the red carpet that city did, and maybe 2 or 3 out of the 13 still live in Biloxi. Everybody else had pretty much moved away. And of course, my father-in-law was in a military career, so he was all over the world. But man, they rolled out the red carpet, and here that city's having troubles, but they put a huge event in for these inductees that they had, the 13 they had in. But it was amazing. I mean, they fed a dinner, and the police and firemen got together, and they barbecued and had all the fixings, but all city employees, and put on the event. But I come back going, why can we not do that? I know Smyrna High's got a kind of a Hall of Fame thing that they've started now, but with us having Stewart's Creek, and even I'm thinking Murfreesboro schools with all the different high schools that they've got within Murfreesboro, that some kind of Hall of Fame type thing to recognize some of these students through the years.
Well,
that we've had.
Riverdale and Oakland both have active Hall of Fame inductees going on. The one thing that when I was director of athletics for the system, one thing I considered trying to push and didn't get a lot of support when I brought the idea up, but I think it'd be nice to have a Rutherford County Hall of Fame for
I agree.
high school athletes.
I agree.
Yeah.
The difficulty of trying to find the right people to make those calls is difficult. If you started today, you'd have to go back and take the best. Let's start with 15. And how do you go back and remember the Monk Montgomerys of the world, the Bud Races of the world, so many that, and try to compare them today. But that said, to me, that's an obstacle, but it's worth doing to me.
Sure.
Well, I was really blown away about the number of professional baseball and football players, track stars, Olympic people. Brett Favre, of course, is there. He's the star on the wall as far as the biggest athlete that they promote for that area down there. But man, the world-class athletes that just come out of that little small area down there. And I know we have them here. We just, I guess, unless you grew up around or went to school around that time, you don't really realize how good the Sonny Grays of Smyrna and Blackman's
David Price.
I
was going to mention that.
We've got.
It's fascinating to find out how good Sonny and David were at the professional level, and played against each other right at it in high school. And David was an exceptional basketball player as well. And Sonny was a tremendous football player. Led Smyrna to one state championship, maybe two.
Actually, two.
I didn't know if Sonny was part of both of those or not.
Yeah,
but yet he goes and is having a really good year. I think he's with Minnesota right now.
He is.
Having a good year. So, a lot of really good players from here, and we've had professional athletes in football move on and do and so forth. So, a lot to be proud of in the sports world.
Just bring this up. I caught the SEC during the middle of the day, I think a week or so ago, and was it the 2019 Georgia-Tennessee game when Juwan Jennings from Blackman caught that
Josh Dobbs
with the last 10 seconds, and it's just, you will go, wow, what a catch, and Rutherford County guy, and just makes you smile.
Let me ask you guys a question, because I've pondered this on the All Sports Talk Show that I help host on in the afternoons, 5 o'clock. If you're not listening, I wish you would. What is it about the human psyche that draws us to such heights of sports? I mean, there are people, and I'm one of them, that when I'm involved with this team, I just get all in, to the point last year when Middle Tennessee played Miami.
Right.
As big a fan as I am, I was not all excited about that, because I just thought, we're going to go down there and hopefully make a pretty good showing and not get run off the field. And we had a good team and all that. And my son in the second half, like I say, I hadn't watched it at all, and he sent me the text that we just scored. Had the goal line stand and threw the 99-yard touchdown pass to Chisholm. And so exciting to do. I'm a Cincinnati Reds fan,
and I like you anyway.
But back to my question: what is it about the human psyche that draws us to be such sports fans? I mean, you look on television on a Saturday afternoon, and the game is down to the last field goal attempt, and you look in the stand and you got people literally praying. The look on their faces like, if he makes this, I'm going to celebrate. If he doesn't, I'm going to die. Why do we get so involved with that?
Look back at ancient Greece with the Olympics. I mean, it was tough to participate in those Olympic events. Many times you didn't survive them. And I guess it's just ingrained in us from ancient times.
I mean, that's a great question, because I'm sitting here thinking of how time has changed. I know my father read newspapers, so you didn't get to see, like we do, instantaneously who won or who did what. You had to wait, because there's a morning print and an afternoon print of the paper. So you didn't know a lot of times how your team did, professional football or baseball or basketball back in the day, and that the anticipation of seeing that newspaper, I can remember people standing there by waiting for them to deliver the newspaper so you'd see that afternoon edition and see what it is. But I agree, and we all work so hard, so I guess it's fun to see our favorite team doing well. It's like the Miami MTSU game. You know, I was at a birthday party, and one of the people that worked for MTSU's sports department was there with us, and then we had the game on. Well, it become nobody at one point. There wasn't a soul in this pool, and we were all wrapped around that TV watching, and they were scrambling to find people to go to MTSU and start taking some pictures because they figured there'd be some celebrations, which there were on the campus of MTSU, but we weren't expected. Like you said, you just wanted them to show up and make a good showing, but here we are, you know, going to take down a
top 25 team.
Yeah,
for sure.
And a legendary team, you know, and here we are. But I agree with you. And I think that games like that has gotten drive more for our locals to all of a sudden recognize, you know, we've got that big stadium over there, and there ain't no reason why we can't fill it like Neyland does. And it takes some wins like that and some programs to come through.
Well, that opportunity comes up this Saturday. Middle Tennessee plays at Alabama.
That's right.
And again, most of us, no matter how big of fans we are, recognize that that's a 1 in 100 shot to win that football game, likely, for Middle Tennessee.
A lot of experts have Alabama losing 2 games this year.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's an iconic program for sure.
And I guess they got MTSU picked as one of those that are going to beat them this Saturday, right?
But I'll assure you, the opportunity is there.
Yeah.
And you can't win the big game if you don't play the big game. And,
right.
and so you got to go in, and Coach Stockstill's done this long enough to know that you always go to play to win.
Sure.
And they'll do that, and I guarantee you they have an expectation to win that football game, and I'm hopeful that be the case. But you can't shock the world if you don't play those games.
Amen.
But we all played ball, so there's guys in that locker room that played in that Miami game last year that are going to be playing on Saturday, so they know what it feels like. They knew what it took, and if you can start passing it on to everybody buys in. Coach always buys in. It's if you trust enough in your coach to buy in.
Well, Chip asked the question on Rick Stockstill Live, which is on WGNS as well, last night at 6 o'clock, his first coach's show.
Yeah.
Will that game have some influence on Saturday? And you got to know that it does, because we got on the bus to go to the airport, to go to Miami, to win a game that we couldn't win, but we did win.
Mm-hmm. Right.
We're going to get on the bus and go to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, to play a game we can't win. But wait a minute, we couldn't win last year, but we did win.
That's right.
I was sitting at the scores table at the state basketball tournament when Middle Tennessee played Michigan State. I was working the PA, and so I didn't get a chance to watch the game, but a guy had a phone beside me, and at a timeout he showed me the score, 17-2, and I looked at it and I said, gosh, I wish we weren't getting embarrassed like that. And he said, no, 17-2. It's Middle Tennessee that's ahead, 17-2. And so trying to watch that game and do the PA and do the right thing along that way. And Jeff and I talked about this on the show yesterday, that somewhere in the second half, Michigan State had cut the lead back to 2 or 3. And it's like, well, okay, well, here it comes. Well, Middle blows it back out to 6 or 8. Here comes Michigan State again, back to 2 points. And Middle Tennessee draws it back out. And about the third time Michigan State got to that point, you finally got to realize, guys, this team is not going to fold.
Yeah,
that's right.
And our guys were thinking, we're not going to fold. We've fended this off. And if you look at the last 90 seconds of that basketball game, it was just fun to be a Blue Raider at that point in time, because not only had they beaten a terrific team, but they had played a terrific basketball game to get that done. That was really one of those games. It was not one that Michigan State played poorly and lost. It was one that Middle Tennessee actually were better that day. That Saturday, Middle Tennessee's not going to be better than Alabama a lot, but you just have to be better than them for one day. And so I'm hopeful that the guys will get things done. Middle's going to have a good year. I'm confident of that.
How many games do you see them winning?
I think they'll win every bit of 8. I'd like to go better than that. The biggest game of the year for me and I think for our fans, is really not Alabama or Missouri, who we opened with on the road, 2 SEC squads. Middle Tennessee, the last time they played Missouri, beat them, and the time before that, they played them within a touchdown. So that I think we all look at that as truly a winnable game.
Yes, sir.
But the Western Kentucky game is the one that Middle's got to get over. Western's had our number for the last 5 years, and we play at Bowling Green this year. Western's picked to win the league, and I'd like to be go into that game at least 2-2. 4-0 would be great, but realistically, 2-2 for most fans would be a pretty good start. We go to Western Kentucky and win. That's September 28th, I think, is the game, yep. And that's the game that I'm really marking down. That the Raiders, they need to win some of these first 4 all they can, but that Western game is big for me.
I remember being in the basketball, being at Murphy, and of course the signs all over the place were better dead than red. So.
Well, the thing about Middle and Western Kentucky, that rivalry goes back to OVC days.
Oh yeah, hated them
for sure. Western has always had everybody's number in basketball. Mm-hmm. In the 60s and 70s, Western was not only an OVC power, they were a national power.
Right.
They made it to the Final Four a couple different times. And when Western came to town, that's when the gymnasium filled up.
Yep.
But Middle Tennessee has worn Western out the last 4 or 5 years. Not won them all, but they've won a bunch of them.
Love it.
And to think that in a 5-year stretch, Middle Tennessee has a winning record over Western Kentucky in men's basketball and women's basketball on top of that. Mm-hmm. Pretty good night when you sweep Western, and that's happened more than once in the last few years, and hopefully it'll happen again.
Amen.
I agree. You're listening to Tim Tackett, the local sports legend here for Middle Tennessee and Rutherford County. But we're going to take our second break. I want to mention real quick, we got the Wings of Freedom Fish Fry coming up for Smyrna, our big Rotary event that's going to be September the 9th. So if you haven't got your tickets already, I urge you to go out and do them. You can go to, if you'll just Google Wings of Freedom Fish Fry, it'll pull you up our website. It's wofsmyrna.com, and you can get your tickets right there online.
Best fish ever.
It's best ever.
And 2 of the cooks are sitting right here.
That's right. So please come out. I think we're up to about 29 different charity groups that we.
How many pounds of fish are we gonna cook?
450.
Yeah, we do about.
Oh man,
over 400 pounds in 3 hours. So
yep. It's a hoot.
You're not doing that in a fry baby, are you?
No, sir.
No.
We got two trailers.
Two state-of-the-art trailers that we set up and hopefully work right. We always have an issue. It seems like with 1 or 2.
With the older one, anyway.
Yeah, but hey, we're going to take our last break with the Rick and Wayne Show. We'll be right back.
Learn to make money 5 ways with rental real estate. Double your money with apartments. And get your map to financial freedom. And that map starts with a free workshop. Sign up now at lifestylesunlimited.com. Click on the Join Free Workshop tab and attend online or in person. That's lifestylesunlimited.com. Lifestylesunlimited.com. Again, that's lifestylesunlimited.com. Limited seating, unlimited potential.
This is Lisa Halliburton with Bell Jewelers. We have Bob Lanier. He's an award-winning goldsmith. He can custom make and repair anything. He's celebrating his 25th anniversary here at Bell Jewelers. We also have a second jeweler, Caleb. Having the 2 jewelers here, we can get things out same day or within a few days. Bell Jewelers, 821 Northwest Broad Street, across from Toots Restaurant.
For years, I have felt ashamed of my weight, but not anymore thanks to Magnolia Medical Center. There, I received a special weight loss injection that has changed my life. Thank you, Magnolia Medical Center.
Online at magnoliamedicalcenters.com.
Here at Bud's Tire, we make buying Michelin tires simpler. I'm Allison Mitchell with Bud's Tire Pros. We offer a straightforward approach to service, including nationwide warranties with every purchase. Stop in today to see our full lineup of Michelin and BF Goodrich tires. For whatever you drive, Michelin and BF Goodrich have a tire to fit any need. Bud's Tire Pros, hassle-free, guaranteed. We're located on East Main Street, exactly 3 miles from the town square, 1 mile past Rutherford Boulevard. Visit us online at budstirepros.tn.com.
Talking with customers of Jeff's family-friendly restaurant on Hancock Street about why they keep coming back.
It is excellent. Very good food. It's kind of like eating at home. Real nice folks here. So good.
So much food at Jeff's, you'll have a hard time cleaning your plate.
Food is great.
Oh, this is great food. Give you an ample amount. They season it well and give you enough that you don't have to worry about going away hungry.
Come hungry to Jeff's family-friendly restaurant on Hancock Street.
This is great. I love it.
Really good. Glad I came today.
Jeff's family-friendly restaurant on Hancock Street.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and worldwide at WGNSradio.com.
And good morning and welcome back to the third segment and final segment of this Tuesday morning with the Rick and Wayne Show. And this morning, it's been our pleasure and the show has just flown by for me. Brother Tim Tackett, longtime friend, served with him on the school board. Of course, being with all the hats you've worn, being the county athletic director for Rutherford County, I think is so very impressive. I mean, with all the great athletes and great programs that we have here, you had an immense responsibility.
Well, all the hats I've worn is obviously taking all the hair off the top of my head, I guess.
Me too.
And let me share this, something not a lot of people would know about me, is I'm from Indiana. Center Point is in Greenwood, Indiana, about 65 miles, I guess, from where I grew up and where my mother still is. And I was there last weekend for a class reunion kind of deal. So I made the point in talking to people there that my high school was coming up there to clear Center Point off the map. And they said, no, that ain't going to happen. And it didn't. Oakland ran into a very, very good nationally powered team.
Wow.
But I came here to be in the Band of Blue. And so what the sports background that I have, really the biggest influence in my life as far as middle is concerned, and really a turning point in my life is making the decision to come here to be in the band. And so that group, as bands with all, they add so much to the pageantry of what college football is without, and high school's the same way. And I'm going to tell you what, you talk about the players, football players in 100-degree heat, having to do their practices. The band's out there on the blacktop someplace in 100-degree heat doing that same thing. Yeah. So it takes a special kind of dedication. I'm having lunch today with three of my old band buddies. One, his wife just passed away 3 or 4 weeks ago, who was also one of our band people. And I just tell you this, the band people are special people.
Agreed.
And the Band of Blue is something I've always been proud of, and look forward to seeing them again. Craig Cornish does a tremendous job over there, but a lot of things happen in that direction. So let's support not only our athletes, but let's support our band people as well.
I don't know of a group more committed to fundraising than band parents.
Well, it's kind of expensive, you know.
Yes, sir.
What I knew coming, you know, as principal at Oakland, is the biggest budget in the school is not the football team. At least at that time, it's the band, because there's football team is going to have 60, 70, which is a bunch of people. Bands oftentimes have 150 kids to try to get from here to there, and they've got to get on those buses to get here and there and yonder. The schools typically do a little bit better job funding the football because they have a fundraising event called gate receipts on Friday nights.
Right.
The band does not get that, and so for them to make those same trips and marching band contests on Saturday afternoon and buy the uniforms, which are more expensive than a basketball uniform for sure, it takes that. But you're right. It's a very dedicated group of band parents that typically get that done.
Remind me what instrument you played.
I'm a trombone player.
Cool.
Grew up trombone. My dad was a tremendous musician. I grew up following in his footsteps. He was a trombone player, and so that's what I played. And I'm very proud to have hanging on my wall at home his trombone and my trombone right beside each other. My mother gave me a picture of this past weekend that I hadn't ever seen, but Dad marching in the Washington inaugural parade for Truman when he was elected president. That was, of course, inaugurations in the year after the election, so it was 1949 actually they did that. But proud of that case, and my high school band was able to march in the Cherry Blossom Festival in 1970 in Washington, D.C. So not only do I have my trombones together now, I've got a picture of my dad marching in Washington, D.C. besides a picture of me marching in Washington, D.C. Pretty special stuff.
Yeah. Band of Blue, I just thrilled to get to hear them. They are so entertaining, and they look like they're having so much fun. They just, like you said, just adds to the pageantry and the fun time at the stadium.
And we've got good high school band programs here too.
Yes.
That have a good time. So I say that, and cheerleaders and lacrosse players that are coming along, and soccer players and so forth. There's just lots going on besides just football.
I can't believe how many cheerleaders there are on the sidelines now. I think I counted the other night. There must have been 20 plus cheerleaders.
That's a big deal. Smyrna actually won. They're a state champion, national champion last year. They got their rings the other day. They had a ring ceremony at Smyrna High for the cheerleaders.
And Blackman High School was a perennial national champion there for a while.
So I got a sports question I wanted to ask you and see what your thoughts are. So it seems like through the high schools that we've got in Rutherford County, every year we'll have 2 or 3, it seems like, from every school that sign with some big Division I school somewhere. What's it going to take to maybe keep some of those kids here local that would play for like MTSU? Because that's that talent pool, a lot of times it seems like the lower conferences start hurting with.
It does. Well, there's and now, especially with NIL money that's out there, it's going to make it even tougher for the Middle Tennessees to do that, because you can go to Alabama, Tennessee, and LSU, and Texas A&M and literally make thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars. Middle's going to have a hard time. Well, they're not going to be able to make that kind of thing at all.
Yeah.
But the question can be the opposite way. How is it that a Kevin Byard out of Georgia ends up at Middle Tennessee? Maybe the best safety in the NFL plays at Middle from Georgia. Why is he not at the University of Georgia? Why is why some of the kids that come out of Florida, whatever, do? So a lot of it is, I just want to get away from home.
Sure.
The kid in Murfreesboro oftentimes would play any place. Then they find out that I'm not always greener on the other side. Octavius Mathers is a great example of that. Great football player at Blackman, went to Ole Miss, came back to Middle, and had a tremendous career here. He's running back now on the coaching staff there. So I wish I knew the answer to the question. I've always said this: if Middle could, in girls basketball in particular, if we could just say we put a wall around Rutherford County, and no kid in girls basketball player in Rutherford County can go any place but Middle, and we can't take anybody from any place but Rutherford County.
Yeah.
How good a basketball team would MTSU be? And they're really good in women's basketball right now. But I think if we could capture that, that's how good girls basketball is here. And same thing's true in football to some degree. I think if we could just take the all-star squad out of the 11 high schools we have playing football in Rutherford County and say we won't take anybody else, but we got to keep all of our people here, we probably do okay.
With the Bill Blue program going on, with the renovations that's going to go for the football field and the facilities, and I think the improvements they want to continue to make at Murphy, boy, and like the glass. Just replacing the glass just gave that facility a whole different look. Mm-hmm. Just very, very eye pleasing. And I would hope that maybe if there's not NIL money, that a student might want to come there, because hey, it's Middle Tennessee. It's a beautiful campus. You can get a great education. And the facilities are really nice.
Well, you played at Middle back in the day, and I remember you talking about what the locker room was like there with the wire cages that you were so proud to have.
in the basement memorial.
But everybody wants to go someplace where they can play with great facilities, something special. And that's what I don't think Middle Tennessee can sell NIL money, But with this Build Blue campaign and the new facility being built for football, Murphy Center, which I think is a very attractive place already,
Right.
will be improved and so forth. If the kid walks into a gymnasium or a football stadium and looks around and say, boy, this is pretty neat, I can play here, as opposed to walking in and say, gosh, what a crappy place this happens to be. You got to have something to sell, and we've got a good education in Middle Tennessee to sell. We've got a great community to sell here, and upgraded facilities. I think they're obviously betting that that's going to make it some positive changes, and I think it will. Let's look for Smyrna High School. What being able to put a new turf on the stadium is going to do. Being able to what has Smyrna Ready Mix SRM now, I guess it's called.
Yes, sir.
With their donation to the facilities that they'll be able to do with that, don't you think that's going to make Smyrna High School a lot more attractive for someone to decide? I think I'll go to Smyrna, because when these people come in from all over the place, I mean, if we had 1,000 students a year, they're coming from someplace.
Sure.
Many of them are looking and say, and I had this phone calls take place when people would call and say, well, where's the best volleyball program? My child's a great volleyball player. She plays this ball. Well, I couldn't say for sure. I said exactly what I meant. We have good schools everywhere.
Yeah.
But once they did the research, if it's a volleyball player, most of them ended up at Siegel.
Right.
Because Siegel's had state championship level volleyball for years and years and years. It doesn't take a genius to figure out that that's what to do. If you're a band person, which band are you going to go to? Oakland's had a really good band, something I was proud of for sure. But parents are going to do their due diligence and find out. And you'd like to think academics has something to do with that as well, but they're going to check all that kind of thing out to see. But Smyrna will see an improvement because of what SRM is able to do for them, I think, with the facilities they'll be able to build.
No, I agree. I agree with that 100%. So, I don't know. I guess I go back to that question I had about MTSU, because I'm like y'all, this Build Blue program, I really wish they'd invest more in our local schools to keep some of these kids here. I know we're 20,000 students, enrollment as far as MTSU, but they could really keep a lot. Like you said, if we could build that wall around Rutherford County and keep all these kids in the sports and academic side, we'd have one heck of a community.
Well, I don't think it's for lack of trying, for sure. Coach Stocksel knows that. And oftentimes when we have the big time athletes here, you see their listing of where their offers are coming from, and Ole Miss and from Tennessee and from Alabama and whatever. And someone said, well, why is Middle not offering them? I said, I guarantee you Middle has offered those kids the opportunity.
Sure.
Because you're not going to take a David Price or Sonny Gray and not make an offer to them. But when you're having to fight SEC schools, Big Ten schools, so forth, more times than not, when they list the schools that their top 5, they're going to list 5 that are going to be impressive to people.
You're right.
Middle Tennessee doesn't fit in that mode.
Sure.
But yet, at the same time, when you beat a Miami in football last year, a top 25 program, there must be some good football players on that team from somewhere, somehow, and some of them are from here. I know the young man's name I can't remember, but a punter that's returning back in Oakland, the last name is Turk, left and he's coming back and is vying for the punting position here. We see that a good bit, that players will go and then they will find out there's a hometown team out there that I could play for, and my parents would get to see me play, and I'm going to give that a shot. So I wish that we could do it, but as I say, I don't think it's for lack of trying. It's just every kid's got their own reason for going where they go. And I say I ended up in Middle Tennessee from the state of Indiana. How did that happen?
Yeah.
So it's crazy things in this world.
I'm curious to see, with all the changes of the conferences, with almost demise of the Pac-12, that
take almost out of it. The Pac-12 is gone.
So I just wonder how. I guess we would be referred to as a mid-major here at Middle. That how does that cascade back this way? And
the language that is used most times is Power 5 in the group of 5, which is what the Conference USA, Sun Belt Conference, Mountain West, AAC, and I'm missing somebody. The group up at Ohio schools, the MAC.
Yeah.
Those the group of 5 schools. What it does there, I don't know. The cascade is going to go, and you want to be in a position to do what you can, but the gap has been there. The gap will remain. Can Middle Tennessee realistically move in the SEC? No, I don't think that's a realistic possibility, but can we be good enough to beat Western Kentucky, San Diego State, and those kind of things? That's what you have to strive to do, and then hope that you knock down an Alabama from time to time, knock down a Georgia from time to time, and build that reputation to 5-10 years from now. If that opportunity comes to move up to a conference, can you be attractive enough to do it? Part of it's got to be people listening out there. If you want a Middle Tennessee to do well, part of it's got to be getting people in the stands.
Sure.
Because if you don't do that, that's also a factor with players coming in here. They want to play in front of people, and so that the fans have a job to do. If they want to be part of that, that they need to get in the stadium and do what Wayne and I do for sure.
Yes.
Have a good time and support the Blue Raiders or whatever your team happens to be.
It really is a good time.
So we just have to see, but looking forward to the football season for Middle, and
me too.
See how that goes. And of course, with high schools, Oakland losing a game it doesn't happen very often, but they got beat by an awfully good football team, and Oakland's going to be knocking at the door again for sure. And I tell you what, looks like Siegel's making a real run this time around. Stewart's Creek is the same way. And of course, with Smyrna and Stewart's Creek, they're being in Region 5, and Oakland and Riverdale being in Region 3. The possibility now exists that Rutherford County could have 2 teams in the state championship game.
That's our second one. Yeah.
I'm not predicting that's going to happen anytime soon, but it certainly could. Smyrna's won a state championship, and Oakland and Riverdale both won state championships. Wouldn't it be nice to see something like that happen in the state championship game when you say,
yes, sir,
Rutherford County's going to win this one because they're all that's there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Brian, what's your game of the week this week? Sorry, I brought him in there.
No problem. We're doing the Smyrna Siegel game.
Yeah.
Siegel is going to have a special night where they say thanks to all those who helped them put their field turf on, the sponsor night and recognition and a dedication of their turf. So we'll be there for that.
So I kind of challenge everybody. Obviously, if you're listening right now, 101.9 is the Murfreesboro and 100.5 it's got the Smyrna signal on the FM dial or WGNS radio. You can sure go in and listen to Brian and his crew this weekend doing the game. And I challenge y'all to listen or even show up to one of we got a lot of good football games coming on this Friday night.
One thing that's different here in Murfreesboro is the local radio station has not gotten the memo that when you get to be a school the size of Rutherford County is, that the local station no longer does all the football and basketball games that they do. This is very unique here to have what the coverage that Brian and the guys do here in covering high school sports. It's second to none in Tennessee, and there'll be very few in the country that would match it in. Because as the county grows and the opportunities grow to do something else, radio stations tend to move away from those local kind of things. And Brian, where'd y'all miss to get the memo?
I'm not sure. I guess it was while we were doing 341 events last year. It just slipped through the door.
It is special. It really is.
Well, actually, you're special too, Mr. Tackett. God bless you for your care for these students, thousands and thousands of students over the years. So, thank you.
Well, I appreciate that very much. There's a lot of good people out there, Wayne, and doing the Lord's work, as I would call it, and have a special calling. And I think people who work in the public arena have a special call to do that, and it takes special people to do it. And I just hope we can continue to attract and retain good people to do those jobs, because it's critically important. You can't have good schools without good teachers and good administrators, and hopefully that can continue, and we can encourage people to, like I say, to be part of that team.
Yes, sir.
Yep. Well, thank you.
My pleasure.
As Wayne said.
Always.
And Thank you, everybody that's listened. If you're a praying type person, I ask you to say a little special prayer for Baker Rayburn, one of my partners who I work with the insurance agency. He was involved in a traffic accident yesterday, so he's pretty banged up, and it's going to take a little bit of road to get him back to being well. But if you're a praying type person, I'd appreciate your prayers for Baker right now. But hope everybody has a great week, and we'll be back with you again next week at the same time, same place. Have a great day.